We're going to start off today with some IZZET Wizards. I know we already played the deck, but I think that one, this is an archetype I've been excited. I've been excited to like really dig my teeth into since Modern Horizons 3. This kind of like IZZET control deck with Tamiyo. Um, and the problem is, like, the existence of Flage was just a absolute nightmare for this deck. You had no, like, really good main deckable answers. You could play, like, a lot of subtleties. You could main deck Soul Guide Lantern, but it was just so awkward to try to deal with Flage. And now all of a sudden, Flage is banned. And, well, oh, wait, I just am now realizing we didn't actually play it while Flage was banned. We 3-2'd a league. And we just conceded twice. The two losses were just to people still playing Flage because the ban wasn't live. I did update the deck though. I ended up cutting the Flare Trainer package. I think the Flare Trainer package is a viable way to build the deck. However, in my experience yesterday, the metagame was pretty dang combo focused. It's pretty dang combo focused. Oh wait, I'm using the wrong scene there. It was pretty dang combo focused. So I felt like that if I was gonna play trainer on turn two, I had to have a flare with it immediately, or it felt like I was too slow. And so when you have flare, obviously it's good. When you don't have flare, it's bad. And I think I'm really liking the dynamic where you have Tamiyo as a sorcery speed 1-drop, and then everything else is instant speed. It's kind of like the Dimir Flash deck, although you do have a sorcery speed card. It's kind of like the Dimir Flash deck, but instead of like you just never have to tap out on turn 2 for trainer. You can just have Dramatic Critique the cycle, Counterspell, Prismari Charm, Logic Knot, Discharge, Snare, etc. up. Dramatic Critique was phenomenal. This is like it's like the ban of Flage is coming at a really good time for this archetype, I think, where this card look at our deck. We have 4 Snapcasters. We have some subtleties too, but this is our main win condition is like Critique and Snapcaster Critique. This gives you like a huge degree of inevitability in the late game. Well, in addition to being a card that flips Tamiyo turn 2 and is like flips Tamiyo turn 2, wins the end game, and also is removal spell in the mid game. It's X spells are, this is one of the most pushed X spells I think of all time, and I've really liked it a lot in this archetype. I am trying out a few cards in the flex spots, so I'm not sure about the number of Force of Negation and Subtleties, but I think liking the idea of going up on the pitch spells here. We're starting with 3/3. I've one Consult the Star Charts. I think the first copy I'm pretty happy to have. You could play more. This is a deck with a lot of card advantage already between Snapcaster Flame, Critique, and Tamiyo. Could play less. I'm playing 22 lands. I think I could end up playing 23. I was actually playing 21 on Monday, or on Monday, and I think that was a little low. We're trying out a couple of Prismari Charms too. We have played Prismari Charm in this kind of archetype before when you're trying out the Dawning Archaic or the Wandering Archaic, whatever the hell that card's called. And Prismari Charm performed pretty well, and I think this is a good time to try a couple copies as well. Why no mana drain? So yeah, I think on the lower wizard count. So like one thing is Flame of Anor is gonna be fine without a wizard a lot of the time. Like end of turn draw 2, removal spell is gonna be fine. The wizard mana drain, you have to have a wizard in play. We've gone down on our wizard count, which is gonna mean I think we're moving away from the mana drain. Also, the mana drain it goes really well with Thundertrap Trainer, right? So in the other build, we had the mana drain to cast Thundertrap Trainer with Kicker, to cast Traumatic Critique, but without moving away from that dynamic, that card kick submit. Did you see the Spins 5/0 deck? No. With the Dragon God? The Dragon God's from Hour of Devastation, right? All right, we'll see if we're up against Boros prowess. There is a lot of Boros still in the leagues, it seems. Now, this is a matchup I've been actually excited for. This is a matchup I've actually been pretty excited for. I think I can surveil here pretty easy, actually. I've been thinking since, like for the last 2 years, that if Flage didn't exist, that this matchup would be pretty favorable for IZZET. We'll see how true that is. I don't know how true it is. Oh, but it is Ruby Storm, so we're not going to get to test that thesis right now. Why is Boros still alive? I don't know. I don't know why anybody is surprised. I don't know why anybody is surprised that Boros is still playable. I don't think can anybody disagree with the statement that you get to play a 60 card deck full of like a perfect mana curve, super good removal, a deck that's capable of killing turn 3, a deck that's playing tons of premium interaction. I think I'm gonna go try to kill this with the Flame of Anor this turn. It's like I don't know why anybody is surprised that Boros is still legal. The amount of people, I was not expecting this amount of Boros is gonna be unplayable. Like comments. It is Boros Jeskai Bardu is still gonna be a very playable modern deck. And in fact, the deck maybe gets faster too. Like Flage is kind of a slow card, although sometimes like you just get that extra damage, like especially with Bombardment for like 4 extra damage for like the turn 4 kills. Sorry, I don't understand why no blue flare. I mentioned this in the deck tech, and you could rewind, or I could tell you right now, I suppose. But the idea is that this format is very fast right now. Like there's immediately into this new modern metagame, and things can change, of course. But immediately into this new modern metagame, it is a ton of combo. It's a ton of big mana. And if you play Trainer on turn 2 and you don't have a flare, it's a losing play. It's a big net negative play. And obviously, when you find flare, it's really good. And you can go that direction. It did not test bad, but I think I'm more interested in being a deck that is able to just pass with all of my interaction up. Pass interaction up, you know? They Rinse Resolve into 2 lands here. Pretty good for me. Queef Wellington with the 51 months. Thank you, welcome back. I don't have a stuff in there. And so, oh yeah, thank you. All right, they Grape Shot me for 4. I think, and so it's a little bit of an early metagame call. I'm hoping that we see a lot of metagame evolution over the coming weeks, and I would love if we could have a modern format where like every week a different deck is like doing well. That would be awesome. That'd be so good. I might be silly. I struggle to see why Logic Dawn is playable. Is it just a bad counterspell? It's not just a bad counterspell. It is about as good. It is about as good as counterspell number 5. It's actually better than counterspell against a surprising number of things. It's better against Spell Snare. It's better against the rare Drowning the Lock. It's better against like a lot of the mill cards that like care about the number of cards in your graveyard. I think isn't there like one more? Maybe I'm misremembering. I do think that there is one more like kind of big deal with it. But in a deck like this, that the only way we're using our graveyard is like Tamiyo and Snapcaster, we're almost always going to have enough cards in our graveyard to just counter whatever they play. So it's more or less counterspell number 5 if you're not taxing your graveyard particularly hard, which we are not. Did I see the Marvel announcement? I did not, no. Do I think living in will be problematic? So the play pattern of Violent Outburst, Force of Negation, I think is, yes, pretty inherently problematic. Can it be contained? Yes. I think one thing that they said in the ban announcement that I definitely do agree with is that Modern is a format that can absorb a lot. Even when there's like a broken deck, like Boros has been a great example, a deck that it is like pretty busted and annoying and has bad play patterns and is too fast and too interactive and too resilient. Even if it's like existing for a long time, Modern is a deep enough format with enough depth and diversity that it can absorb these things. It can absorb these things. And so I think the format can absorb living in. I do think it was not a good unban, but net positive, pretty happy. Spider-Man getting the real paper names cards online. No more Cavero? You know what? The wins keep coming and they don't stop coming this week. That's great. That is so good. This is huge. Good job, guys. Good job, guys. I don't know how you did it. I don't know how much you paid. Shook it with a tier 3. Let's go. I'm very happy about this. 2v3, you still have Cavero? Wait. Oh, so it's the new cards or no? But no Cavero's moving forward. Okay. You know what, Cavero? You can stay. A great week for Wizards of the Coast. Good job, guys. Yeah, Pioneer's coming back. You know what? I want to like Pioneer. Both new and old? Wait, it is also they're reprinting. So we get to keep Cavero, but we also get the new versions? I'll take it. Sorry, I haven't heard you speak on this set. What is my opinion on the actual impact of Lotus Field ban to Titan? We've talked a little bit about it. One, I think I'm generally not in favor of banning like the 4th or the 5th strongest card in the deck. I tend to think I'm just gonna be real aggressive with my counterspells now. And I'm gonna go Snap Snare with Snare Force up. I tend to think that it's just not like I think it's like not fair to the to the card that gets banned. I don't know if that's a good attitude, but like I think if I was gonna rank the power level of cards in Amulet Titan, I would have put Amulet at number 1, Urza Saga at number 2, Primeval Titan number 3, Summoner's Pact number 4, then maybe Lotus Field number 5. It's a little subjective, and maybe I don't have the right attitude there, but that's about roughly where I would rank it, and you could argue. But I tend to think you should ban the most powerful cards. That being said, another kind of interesting thing about Amulet that we don't really know how this is going to shape out. They did not get rid of the Analyst loops. They nerfed the Analyst loops. They did in their article. They talked about how this ban would get rid of the Analyst loops. They did not do that because you can still T-West for for Zuran Orb. I from what I can tell, the early testing of the Zuran Orb is not going as well as the early testing of Zuran Orb is not testing as well as the Dryad of the Lee Sin Grove stuff. So I would love if Titan became more of the Dryad version. I always liked that version, like, creature removal was more interactive against it. I would be more interested in that happening, but it is, I think, too early to tell how that's going to shape up. I think I want 2 bolts to come with my 3 snares and flames, and I guess critiques to deal with Ral. Oh, I guess maybe I'm going to have to play more because I want to get rid of these. I'm going to play 2 consigns. I have actually liked sub number of disputes. Like, a lot of times they'll like bait your counter spells by just like playing a rebuke or playing a ritual and just like disputing it's pretty good. But maybe on the draw I want one discharge, 1 dispute, and then maybe 1 more of these on the play. Canister isn't happy about either version so far. Yeah, we'll see how it shapes up. We'll see how it shapes up. I think it's too early to tell like what version is going to be the best. What's the best way to build that version? And we don't even know what the metagame looks like either. So overall, I am happy that they I do agree that the analyst loops have made the Titan deck much more miserable to play against than it was in the past. And I would be really happy if the loops were suboptimal, and I would be happy if it is Lotus Field also did speed up the plan, or the Titan plan of the deck. I don't even know if that was plan A anymore. Canister struggling with Amulet this week. Yeah, I know that he's struggling some with Amulet, and I acknowledge that. I do think it's too early to have a solid opinion on anything. Although that is maybe a flaw I have. I feel like I always take like a week and a half longer to make an opinion than anybody else. But that is a disclosure about me. If you're consuming my opinions, I really like to take my time on forming one. I think we need to start aggressively countering things here, on account of my hand having no lands. I think I'm gonna use Counterspell. I think you want to try to save Test of Talents for a ritual. Although getting rid of the Rin's Resolves is kind of nice. Okay, let's get a Tamiyo down. We've got Snare and Consign up. What the deck lost is a good win con versus Solitude decks. Cultivator Colossus is a good win con against Solitude decks. Like, if you're holding up Solitude and you're trying to stop, I think I will snare this. This hand just really wants to trade 1 for 1. If you were just holding up interaction, a Solitude against Titan, and they play Cultivator Colossus, you lose. Yeah, Snare is super duper Snare is better than Counterspell in this matchup. I'm surprised we didn't end up with more consults. I feel like you could cut Knot and Bolt to get up to 3. I'm not super interested in playing a lot more card advantage. We have Tamiyo, Snapcaster, Traumatic Critique, Flame of Anor, and I think it's closer between 1 and 0 consults than it is playing 1 or 2 or 3. It's a very good card, but I think it's the worst of the 3 card advantage spells we're already playing. Let me Test of Talents this one. Just counter anything. Alright, so their hand is 2 Desperate Rituals, a Pass in Flames, and a Wish. Can you get Mod or VIP? You can only get Mod, unless you want to gift about 2,000 subs. And don't do that, actually. Spend that money on your family. Delete the cart chat. What was redeemed? Yeah, I'm paying it out. Have not drawn a land this game, so our really aggressive counterspelling I think has panned out pretty well. Could you splash white for 3 fairy? A third color splash costs it costs more in the post surveil land world than you might expect. The 2 color mana bases just feel so good and less painful, and the 3 color mana bases they do feel worse than they did before surveil lands were printed. I don't think that 3 mana Teferi is a card I'd even want to play. I'm relatively happy, I think, sticking with this like almost completely instant speed plan. I'm a big fan of the nearly complete instant speed plans if you can keep them. Hey, long time Blue Red Wizards player. I get the Flage makes the meta better for Wizards, but I'd argue that the meta makes that Outburst makes the meta harder for Wizards. Net result. I guess I would disagree with that, but the real truth is we'll see. I suppose. I think that you can definitely build Wizards to be good against Violent Outburst decks. You like some combination of Flusterstorm, Test of Talents, Mystical Dispute, Consign to Memory. Oh, dude, we get got by the ritual with this line. Okay, maybe I should use the counterspell. Some combination of this is going to be a problem solver for you. End of turn, Factor Fiction, you lose the 14 months. Is Factor Fiction is playable? Consult the start chart says, I mean, unless you're playing like a very graveyard focused deck, I think Consult really has deleted any hope of that. So their hand is Wish, Past in Flames, a mystery card. Okay, we can let that resolve and use the Flame of Anor on it this turn. They discard the ritual. Nice draws. Maybe flipping the Tamiyo this turn. I think with this draw, I'll use the critique to flip it. I think Rhinos is probably a worse matchup for Wizards than, although Flame of Anor helps a lot. I would say Rhinos, in my experience, would likely be a worse matchup. They only have 3 cards in their hand, but this is a turn where they're going to start casting a bunch of stuff, so I think I will play untap land so I can have Snare, Counterspell, Force Up. Karuko with the 90 months, thank you. Blake with the 52, appreciate you. We do have Prismari Charms in the deck that can get rid of the Artist Talent. And I guess 1 Sync. So they discarded Pyretic Ritual. I'm going to try to save the Force of Negation for the Past in Flames we know about, and probably Counterspell for the Wish. You want to let the loot resolve first so they don't have as much information. I think the Snapcaster Mage is getting pitched. Is that right? No, Snapcaster on Test of Talents is probably too good. Let's pitch the Consult. We have infinite cards. They discarded a Wear Tear, which is actually dead against us. Is it Rhinos worse than Living End? Rhinos is worse than Living End in general. If we're talking about the matchup for this deck, which is the comment I was responding to, I think Rhinos is probably better against this deck than Living End is. That might not be true just because Living End is more powerful. But I do think that the living End is going to be much better than Rhinos, and it's also going to be very good against Rhinos, just like it used to be. That's true. The clue token. That's true. I apologize. Not dead. Not dead after all. So they go to my second main phase. Probably leveled the Artist Talent. Yeah. They still have a Wish in their hand, and they've got a mystery card. You want to fetch a Surveil Land before you crack the Clue token, because you don't really want to draw a Surveil Land off of it. Does this deck win with Critique Subtlety Bolt damage? Yes. There's not another win condition. Alright, I think I want to buy back a Force of Negation, so I'm not as cold to another Past in Flames. Although we do have Snapcaster Test of Talents available. So I think I want to use kind of aggressively this turn. I played an earlier Cascade pre-Image 3, but adding counter spells like Flusterstorm doesn't solve the problem as the dynamic of the matchup. They can play very Droko and force you to tap out. Living End always has the plan to cast creature spells. I'd argue that any Cascade player can navigate the matchup rather easily, so I take exclusive as 5 years, Blue-Red Wizards gamer. I mean, I would say that I have played a ton of these archetypes too, and you definitely can lose. You also I think you definitely can build your deck in a way that you are favored. I think one thing could potentially be is that you can like over sideboard for the living end part, and you can under have removals for their stuff, but I believe that it's solvable. I believe that it's solvable, especially with Tamiyo. Like Tamiyo is like so insane against living end. It just like they just cannot. It just always resolve or almost always resolves, and it just like takes over the game so hard. Is Lay on the Void still wasted on the sideboard? We do not know what the metagame is, so I don't know. We don't know what's going on. It's pretty open. It doesn't seem like it'd be super good with what people have been doing so far. I guess I'll sack a clue. Oh baby, this is insane. Interested in Restore Balance? Restore Balance is always really fun. I liked our Lantern Restore Balance deck. That was the best Restore Balance I think I've ever seen. But it's really bad against counterspells. It don't seem like there's a ton of counterspells in the format, but pretty good against non-counterspell decks. Is this one of the first times they've done bans during a modern RCQ season? I don't think so. I think they've done bans like this before. People always act like they never do, but maybe I'm a little biased because like my first Pro Tour they banned Felidar Guardian like 2 weeks before. Maybe that was an RCQ. I don't know. They do things at random. It is just. I know we've said this to death. We've beaten this adage from Mingu to death, but it is just true. There's just no predicting what Wizards of the Coast will do to manage their formats. Orb seems good now. It doesn't give free flage. That's true. Orb is now a much better sideboard card against Boros. That doesn't give free flage. That's very insightful. Yeah, those. So maybe Doorkeeper Thrall not so dead after all. Yeah, Fury and Beans are banned in RCQ season. That's true. We could alpha let this resolve. I guess I'm not going to. We totally could have just let that resolve. Triggers during RCQ. Yeah, I think it's pretty often they ban stuff during RCQs. I think people try to find like a rhyme or a reason to what Wizards of the Coast does, but there is none. You will find no solace here. Letting that resolve be considered BM? Maybe. My thought on letting it resolve is I could show my opponent that my hand is unbeatable even if they get to take 2 counter spells, and so strategically it would be to get the game moving. Right, let's keep this on the draw and the blind. Hey Spider, good to see you. I'm doing well. Hope you're doing good too. It's not mine from the 5 I know. I'm just critiquing. Steam Vents untapped. Why don't we try to maybe hold up Discharge this turn into Counterspell, and then maybe we can go Tamiyo plus Critique. So if they have a removal spell, we can go Tamiyo pass, and if they kill it, we can Critique in response to flip it. There's no way the first arena is bad. I mean, if it's worse than a different utility land, it's bad. Like there are so many you can play the more of the encampments. Sages are they rhinos? There are so many options. Yeah, I think Encampment's probably better than Arena of Glory. We're gonna get iced. All right, we'll see what the Cascade matchup's like. This is definitely good testing. The Akiri with the Twitch Prime, thank you. Gotta play around Tidebinder. Are they playing Tidebinder? We don't have a Force of Negation. They play Springs Untapped. Yeah, but I might be underestimating Arena of Glory and wait, they didn't want to do this while I was tapped out. I guess I mean they have Force of Negation, I would suppose. They must with this line. We are pretty priced into counterspelling. No Jitte deck yet. We played 2 Jitte decks yesterday. It was unfortunately very bad. Alright, I think I'm gonna get that Surveil land tapped now. Yeah, I had the Cavs game on in the background, and I cannot believe they blew that lead. They suspend another Footfalls. Snare not too good in the matchup, of course. Kind of interested in Traumatic Critiquing to flip the Tamiyo this turn. How hyped ever for Game 2 Wimby? Is he already the GOAT? Is he already the greatest of all time? No, but I'm very hyped for Game 2. With Flage gone, should I just go Mono Red Burn now, or is Boros Charm still good enough? I don't know. I do think Mono Red, you get really rewarded for playing. I think with Mono Red, you do get really rewarded for playing the. I can never the name of the card. Dwarven Barbarian Ring. Yeah, I know we could snap bolt here. I feel like doing this with Tamiyo. I like that it digs for another bolt. It digs for another piece of counter magic if they have anything, and it's gonna give me a lot of life either way. Like critique and discharge, take out 1 Rhino. Yeah, we could do that as well. What I didn't like about that line is I couldn't like sandbag any energy for another discharge to kill a Rhino. So they go ahead and hit me for 6. Down to 4. We die to an outburst. We don't. I mean, I guess we can't beat a Cascader anyways. Like, there's no plan against a Cascader, but we're not dead to outburst. So now I can go pick up discharge off Tamiyo, discharge a Rhino. You spend 4 energy and then snap discharge. We did to this. That's a violent outburst. Unbanned. I'm dreading living in. Would rather play against Boros with the unbanned cards. Would you like to do that for the next 2 years? Because you've done that for 2 years already. I think I don't see an avenue to surviving here. Even Traumatic Critique, draw 2 discharge doesn't do it because I won't be able to fetch shock. Yeah, okay, let's go to game 2. Was excited about stabilizing with Force up there. All right, we're gonna bring in the Consigns and the Test of Talents. We're gonna cut the 1 mana removal spells, although they do killing Subtlety is pretty good. I guess we're also bringing in the Disputes for the snares. Prismari Charm seems pretty okay, being able to deal with 1 Rhino. Probably playing 1 Bolt over a Snare for Fire Ice. I'd play against Flage until I die, then Cascade for 6 months. I don't know, man. that's fine. I'll say this. Like, 2 things can be bad, right? 2 things can be bad. There are timelines where we can move on from 2 years of Boros dominance and we can move into a fun metagame. I agree that the decision to unban Violent Outburst was bad. It is also true that this is 62? Oh, sorry, I don't understand. I missed that. I agree the decision to unban Violent Outburst was bad. That being said, you can play Vexing Baubles, you can play Soulless Jailers, you can play Flusterstorms, you can play Consign to Memories. You know, there are a lot of cards that are available to fight Cascade. I am not a fan of the play patterns. I do not believe it was a good unban. No Discharge makes Endurance scary. We have 4 Flames. Maybe Cut of Force since they have instant Cascade now. Force is good against them. We know this after years of playing against this deck. How do you think the bans influence the College of Professor deck? It's kind of nice against Living End when you're playing a deck that can just play Psychic Frog and discard a bunch of your combo pieces. A lot of these Cauldron mid-range decks lose equity because one reason why they were kind of nice was that they were able to get rid of Flage kind of easily. I feel like I'm crazy for not being super upset about Violent Outburst. I mean, I'm also not super upset about Violent Outburst. I'm coming from a perspective of someone who has I actually think Boros Energy might be the most restrictive, or one of the most restrictive to brewing top decks we've ever had. It's like every other really big top deck, even Nadu, you had Harsh Mentor for, you had Damping Matrix for, you had sideboard cards that were great against them. Boros Energy had so few great sideboard plans against it. It was so difficult to just be like, this is my sideboard card for Boros. I maybe have a bad matchup, and if I draw this, I can win. Almost every single other deck in history, you have a good sideboard plan. Maybe I guess the old Eldrazi builds didn't really have that dynamic. Do I want a second Force? I think with the Footfalls coming off, I'm kind of down for a second Force. Yeah, I think Eldrazi Winter is probably is probably worse than Boros for that. Is Boros worse than Tibble's Trickery? Yes, the Tibble's Trickery decks were you could just play a ton of really good sideboard cards against them. But when the most popular deck has such little good plans against it, when the most popular deck, you need to be resilient to cheap creature removal. You need to be resilient to Blood Moon. You need to have cheap creature removal. You need to have Graveyard Hate, and you also need to be fast. It's you have to have everything against it. It was crazy. Is restrictive for brewing objectively a bad thing for the format? Does it hit me harder because I'm a brewer? Genuine question. I don't. It's all subjective. I dislike it because I'm a brewer. You can just, if you're not a brewer, especially if you're a Boros player, you can like it more. You know, it is. I think a very. This is a game. Everything about it is subjective. You know. All right, let's go. I think try to hardcast Force of Negation here. Saying Eldrazi Winter is probably worse is crazy since they aren't even comparable. I mean, it's been a long time since it's happened, which I'm trying. This is why I say probably, because it's so removed from in my brain at this point. That being said, I do think it was worse. Was there a good play against Hogak? Yeah, every deck against Hogak got to play 4 Leyline of the Voids, and that card was very good against Hogak, and it came into play turn 0, and you could mulligan for it consistently. It wasn't so good that you. This Test of Talents is kind of awkward. I guess I could try to Test of Talents their counter magic on my. Or sorry. Wait, I can consign their Subtlety ETBs. Because if I Test of Talents the Footfalls, maybe they'll cast Violent Outburst in response to. Yeah, another thing for Boros too, it's been 2 years. 2 years. Hogak and Force of Figure. Yes, they had answers to it. Hogak was broken. Hogak was the best deck. I was there. That being said, it's and if there was a really good sideboard card against Boros, this is Magic. You can beat cards, right? So it has Fire, Ice, Subtlety. This is Magic the Gathering. You can beat cards, but there wasn't something like that for Boros, where you could just play for a Leyline of fuck your deck. So they also have a new card in addition to the Fire Ice. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and try to kill this main phase. Oh, I miscounted my mana. I thought I guess I thought it was just always gonna play the land here. I guess I'm also just pretty happy to be discarding the Consign most of the time. They have a Vibrance in their deck. So I guess let's go cast Tamiyo, consign the Subtlety ETB trigger, then use Flame of Anor to kill the Subtlety. And if they have Force of Negation, I would much rather them Force of Negation the Consign than the Flame, so let's not replicate. They have a third Force of Negation? And they have another blue card? Thanks for the content. Am I working on any of the Cascade decks? Not really. This is another thing that I don't really like about the Violent Outburst unban is it doesn't make anything new. It makes two old decks. All right, again, I don't know how I end up registering 61. But it doesn't really make anything new. It makes two old decks. I'm gonna critique on the draw. And like there aren't like, ooh, we could play Restore Balance. That deck is also old. I could see if there's anything new, but I don't. There's not because it's not even that different from Ardent Plea. Restore Balance is better as an Ardent Plea deck, maybe even because it's white, but it's just like there's not like new stuff happening, which is maybe okay. That's one thing I don't love about it. Yeah, I know one of their cards is Fire Ice, so when I say another blue card, I was saying another besides the Fire Ice. We did play Glimpse yesterday. We ran super bad with it, and it looked awful. Could just be what it's like to play Glimpse. Is that really what unbans are for? Sometimes it was like when they unbanned Green Sun Zenith and Splinter Twin and Looting and Opal. Like all four of those bans opened up a lot of new things. So maybe that's why I have that expectation. I've been lucky Prismari Charm. It was good in match 1. It's now match 2. I just think that instead of a land is pretty weird. Could it be worth it to run Tajura Preserver in your green decks with Green City Counter Living End? Yeah, go to the box field and type Tajura Preserver. We have played it a good bit, yeah. Did you see a Misraised Village? You know, I didn't look for it. I should have looked for it. One thing is that what's nice about Misraised Village is Consign can deal with it. Twiddle Storm must be the best deck ever since they banned Ring, Breach, and Lotus Field from it. Well, let me All right, we're surveilling. Vibrance is used to grab Misraised Village. Okay, yeah, we saw the Vibrance, so we'll keep that in mind. I think I'm gonna bottom or graveyard this. They untap. They do nothing. Neutral Gen. So if we crack our fetch, we get got, or if we crack a clue, we get got by Outburst plus Dispute. If we don't draw Force. Counterspell's a great pickup. Another Consign's a great pickup. Can you consign Misraised Village? Sorry, you don't consign the village, but you can consign the Cascade to effectively still counter the rhinos. And so what they'll do is they'll go cast Charlotte's Agent, then activate the village, then you consign, and it's like really mana inefficient for them. So I think I kind of want them to use a Force of Negation on a Consign here. And we can pay for Dispute. They snap Disputed, which they're saying they have Force of Negation. I could pay and then try to use like Prismari Charm and Prismari Charm and Flame to kill the rhinos. I guess we should probably just keep fighting. Because now if they force this, that's okay. I think getting the Dispute out of their hand is like a good trade. It's a good trade for us for a Consign. Lotus Field kind of feels like it caught a stray for Amulet Regressions. I mean, I think it absolutely did. I don't think anybody could argue with the fact that Lotus Field was like not really that close to being one of the strongest cards in Amulet, or like I don't think people would agree that it's like a top 3 strongest card in that deck. I think like you could say Saga, Titan, and Amulet are all stronger. Why didn't we replicate? Because I wanted to trade Consign for Mystical Dispute there. Mystical Dispute is kind of better than Consign in the spot. I said this. I also said this when I did it. I know it's okay that you're not listening, but I know you're not. But like Dispute is just so efficient. Like getting them out of their hand is so insanely important. Could also have killed an agent, but I think try to draw 2 is better here. So see if they have a 3rd Cascader. Interesting pause. I think I will play another Tamiyo to blank the agent so I can try to ultimate this in 2 turns. Any chance they put this on top? Yeah, they put it on the bottom. Three cards in their hand. Mingu's testing Cryptic Coat Jite. That's cool. I thought about building the deck last night, and I honestly I just feel like Jite was too bad. I think it was too bad to keep testing. And it was also like so clearly awful in the newly developing modern format. And also that this is the deck I wanted to play. All right, so we're going to use 1 Prismari Charm to bounce a token here. This is their 3rd Rhinos. They do have a Mistrized Village in the deck. Someone did 5 Oaths for Stoneblade. They only had 1. Well, you're only ever going to play 1 in any build. They have Endurance. Unless they have Endurance green card. Boros is like the only deck you went with Jite versus. Yeah, I mean like stuff like Yawgmoth maybe. Seems good against Prowess in the play. We played against Prowess, and we did take a lot of damage to our Sunbait Canyons, but we played it with haste and it immediately lost. We just let that resolve. Can try to dispute the hardcast next turn. I think that Jite is just unplayable. I don't want that to be the case. I'm sad that that's the case. I like Umezawa's Jite. I think it's a cool, classic, iconic card. I'm bummed to have to report this. My experience so far has been that it is not very interesting to keep playing. I guess they mistapped. They should have left their red up because now I don't get got by outburst. I can sack my clue pretty comfortably. And then drawing that seems like we just are gonna be looping the Tamiyo Flame still. Let's dispute this. They could have just paid. I guess I can just pay. I didn't. We both messed up here. Yeah, let me go test of talents. Their dispute. Is that crazy? No. Yes, it's crazy. Let's just pay. Just pay. Let this counter this. It's funny. I disputed and then they disputed, thinking it's just Pyroblast. And then I'm gonna minus my Tamiyo on my dispute so I can dispute their Quantum Riddler. Any chance we change it to Dice Factory? There's like 0 chance. The new Umezawa's Jitte, its effects are, if you're gonna put like charge counters on a Jitte, that one gets got by Urza Saga. Its modes are better because it untaps mana. It's just like there's just not a reason. The real question though, with the Flage ban, Affinity is the best, is now the deck to beat. Do you think Opal is going soon? Not really, no. I like Affinity, like the dynamic with Affinity since Opal's been unbanned is that when it becomes really popular, people play a ton of hate cards and it gets less popular. And that is a good dynamic, in my opinion. Keep this on the play, would probably mulligan on the draw. And you know what? If you hate Affinity, learn to love Meltdown, learn to love Fade from History, learn to love Creeping Corrosion, learn to love Explosives. I have really enjoyed just blasting them. I'm gonna graveyard this. I can snap it back turn 3. You're forgetting another big winner, Boromir, our boy. Yeah, Boromir, Ranger Captain. I like Boros Synergy. I don't know how, I haven't seen a lot of Ranger Captain yet. There's so much Cascade. There's so much Cascade. I feel like Ranger Captain's got to be so good. Do you like the 2-month release cycle for Modern? I really like it for Modern. I as someone who only engages with Magic right now as a Modern brewer, the fact that I don't have to engage with an entire standard set because only like a subset of any standard set is playable in Modern. I enjoy that dynamic. I did add a 4th basic land to this deck, by the way. Oh, yeah, we lost this matchup. On Monday. Ponza seems not great. I think it's gonna be fine. And if you saw Esper Blink and Blue White Energy. Yeah, I haven't really been looking at results so much, so thanks for keeping me up to date on that. Do you think this deck could splash white for Wrath? You could. I don't think I would. Like it's splashing a cheap double white spell is not a great idea. And I feel like I want to see like how covered is the metagame by like Brotherhood and Fire Magic Meltdown. I feel like it's relatively covered. Oh, they're missing their land drop? They might Solitude or that's okay. I'm just gonna Prismari Charm. I feel like it's relatively covered. Okay, interesting that they passed priority there. I have one more basic in my deck. Pop Tart, the 14 months. Welcome back. Is it a play to not get the land? I don't think it's a play that like makes a lot of sense. Like, what's the logic behind not getting a land there? Is he asthma food 5 okay? No, that's cool. I think we'll let this one go. It's a little awkward because I just don't want them to draw a land. Drew a really good land too. This does let me go, snap Flame of Anor with Counterspell still up though. Is Violent Burst just living in his Rhinos back? People are playing Rhinos. Rhinos doesn't appear to be doing like particularly. I mean, it's 5-0. Maybe we'll see. I've played against it twice. I've beaten it both times. And that's like my perspective, but I know that it is 5-0ing, so I don't want to say that it's just bad yet. My experience is that it hasn't looked amazing. I have one fetchable left. So I'll be counting their wildfires really aggressively at this point. Dude, Castle Ardenvale's crazy good here. I think Wizards just well positioned. Yeah, that I think you're not wrong. That Wizards is well positioned. I don't think I played against it also with Rakdos, and I played like 2 Nethergoyfs, and they were like insane. Discard Subtlety when it's your best win con is Wild versus Castle. You can have that opinion. I think it's fine. I kind of think it was the worst card in our hand. Maybe I'm overvaluing second Counterspell or the Force. Their deck is just so full of removal that I don't know. I feel like I just want to be like snapcasting traumatic critiques. And I kind of want to keep the Force up when I'm doing this, although there's probably not that much they can really tap out for. I can maybe Snapcaster Prismari Charm and kill 2 1/1s at some point. Right, I'll get rid of the Force of Negation. So the Tamiyo, if I can flip it, can contain the human token, and obviously this is going to do a good job at that. This is deck fold to 1 single Castle Ardenvale. We're going to win this game, probably, but Castle Ardenvale is good against us, too. We're a control deck. Tamiyo contains it. Been playing the Fight Rigging Eldrazi deck. Super fun. Yeah, I really, really have liked that one. Imagine Ephemerate. Ooh, just Counterspell. So I do have one more fetchable. I can just go potentially critique, untap critique here. Is there a reason to keep pushing Zoo post BNR? Well, the reason is, the deck didn't die. You lost Flage, and you can kind of see, like, I think trying to figure out what the best plan is post Flage is interesting. They revealed a second Citadel there. You could go back to the Neshoba Brawler. You can play Tribal Flames. That kind of seems like the obvious shell. You could possibly play Guide Pride of Johnny. That's something we've done in the past. It's felt like pretty fine, although it's been a long time. Psychic Frog variants exist. Yeah, Traumatic Critique is so good. I think it's going to be pretty underrated. All right, so the Charmaws, they do have a good bit of colorless lands. I think we'll play the Charmaws. Test of Talents. We're 3 for 3 boarding and Test of Talents today. I think I'm cutting. I might leave my Bolt in. I might also just play like 1 Dispute. Am I gonna do a BNR video? I don't think so. If I do one, it's gonna be this weekend. I've been trying to think about I was gonna do one and I felt like I was just like capitalizing without having like anything that's not obvious to say and things I haven't said on stream like a million times too. So I might do like a little bit of like a recap video this weekend once I collect my thoughts a little bit more, but I don't want to make one just to make one. I don't want to, I don't want to just be like have to do a reaction. If I have something to say that I feel like is gonna benefit y'all, then I'll say it, and if not, we'll keep grinding. All right, let's keep this. Ooh, all the surveil lands. You might as well. It's free content, and you are a creator. Well, listen. I as someone who is self-employed, right? Everything's free content. I do this professionally. Any day I can choose to make content on anything, but I try to restrict what I do to stuff that I think is interesting and helpful to y'all, and not just jump at the first opportunity to get views. I mean, I might do a video, but I'll do a video if I feel like I have something to say, and I won't if I don't. What's led me to not playing the Wizard Mana Drain spell? So we played that with Thundertrap Trainer in the last version. I liked that. Like that seems like you have to play those two cards together because one, you have enough wizards, and two, it gives you that outlet for the extra mana. It gives you that outlet for the extra mana, but also the how fast this metagame is right now. It's been like way more combo focused than I expected it to be. And so far in this very combo focused metagame, it seems like I want to be on Force of Negation Subtlety instead. This deck also has a ton of card advantage, so I think it does leverage the pitch cards better than you might expect. So they're gonna shuffle away that Steam Vents. Make it a mountain. So let me cast Consult, looking for land number 4. Making Snap Consult or cast Critique next turn. Gonna snare a Wildfire here, probably. Rosemary with the tier 1. Thank you. Welcome back. Is Simic Ritual a good choice against combo meta? Yes, I think Simic Ritual is very good against combo. It's still weak to prowess, and you can solve affinity in the sideboard. You can't really solve prowess. The Boros matchup still exists and still a problem, but it's just not as prominent. I think I'm gonna go Snapcaster Consult, so that if they play Solitude this turn, my Critique can just like 2-for-1 that. The only treble payoff we have is Flame. Yeah. Tamiyo does seem pretty good. A land also seems. I think we just probably want to land. I think I'll take the Otawara because it's Otawara is really good because it's a non-fetchable. Okay, and then they do play the Solitude, which is fine. I think we're gonna let them have that in play for a turn, and then just critique it end of turn if we don't do anything else. Word Strike surely gets a little better with all these combo decks running around. Yeah, that probably doesn't get worse. Could run it in a challenge. We did like it the last time we played it. I love this card. Is so good. Don't sleep on Traumatic Critique. Were you running Logic on this? We haven't one in this build. We didn't have one in the other version. This is a boil. Oh, there's another Solitude. Sure. I thought we were getting boiled, boy. Careful versus Ephemerate. I don't think that they play Ephemerate, but we'd have Force of Negation if they had it. Oh, they Solituded their own Solitude. Okay, cool play. That does fizzle. Kind of baffled me people still playing Boros Land Hate after Flage going. I mean, it's a deck they have. Like, it's really, really early. I'm gonna go Snapcaster Snare because I really want to get a wizard in play for the flame. The Darkfire will not avail them. It always feels so bad to draw basic in this matchup. All right, we got them all the way down to 27. Since the meta is leading more combo, do you think more grindy control decks, especially counterspell focused deck, will start rising to the top? I mean, that's kind of what we're testing here with the Wizards deck. Our record with it's been good so far, although limited. But yeah, I'm hoping that's the case, and I'm hoping if this happens, like more mid range stuff will rise, and like more aggro, and et cetera, and the wheel will keep on spinning. Go, Snapcaster Mage, go! Maybe it's better to do this end of turn. You got Force up for something like Legend of Roku, should be okay. How much would you love a Riptide Lab reprint for the deck? Riptide Lab is legal in Modern. I'm sorry to break the news to you. It's legal and it's not playable. So this is their 4th Solitude. Any plans to revisit Prince and Professor? Yeah, I mean, like, we trophied with it, right? Or did we trophy? I know that I think it was 2-4-1s in a top 8. But when you have a record like that with a new brew, then yes, we will play it again. What's the reason behind dropping the Thundertrap Flare package? I think Force of Negation and Subtlety is better in what seems to be this emergent metagame, and is also like Trainer's just really bad when you don't find Flare in a lot of the situations, it seems. They have Reprieve. Yeah, I think Riptide Lab was legal in Modern Horizons 1. It is was image 1. Okay, and they found a non-force negationable wildfire effect, so they're going to cut me off of double red for now. This game has swung back in the wrong direction. Still pretty ahead, though. Am I still muted? It doesn't look muted on my end. Did you another reprieve? Okay, no. Do I guess I'll test of talents. They only have 2 left. I think it's fine. All right, so they have to win this game, they have 1 more Castle Ardenvale, 2 more Phantoms. They brought in 3 Rest in Peace against me. That's way too many for Snapcaster Tamiyo. Logic not. Think I don't want them to. I guess. I mean, the forces are worse into the bobble, but they probably just immediately sack. Yeah, whatever. Did this deck play Flage, the red white? They didn't play Flage, did they? Or if they did, it was only like 1 or 2. It was a 3 of, okay. Prismari Charm has been like I keep expecting it to be bad, and it keeps continuing to be good. We're about to get them under 20. Blue with the 11 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Yeah, just add a Numazal Jitte, you'll be good. You know, I didn't expect Jitte to be as bad as it was yesterday. I expected it to be a little better, and like I thought it might be kind of an interesting conversation, like how bad it is. It was just somehow just so clearly like I'm not even interested in continuing to play with it. But they hit a Field of Ruin, which they cannot work with here. So I could go maybe end of turn, Prismari Charm my Charmaw back to my hand and then replay it. So if that's my plan, I don't need to get a Traumatic Critique right this second. Really, I'm surprised you thought it might be even remotely usable. I mean, they unbanned, like, I was kind of like I was reading the unbanned article and they're like, we think that this could contribute to Stoneforge Mystic mid-range decks. And I'm like, yeah, okay, we'll see. And so far, it's not looking like that's the case. So now that they drew another, field for turn, they'll probably activate this end of turn so they could hit another field. But we're not going to be guaranteed to be able to bounce our Charmaw. So if we find another Steam Vents here, then we can bounce our Charmaw. We do, and it's going to be hard to say no to a Counterspell. Like in the article, they go, the play patterns with Jitte is ... not great. And it's like, I thought it was kind of funny just compared to the play patterns like that do exist in Modern. They hit a Path to Exile, which I guess I'll be using a Force of Negation hardcast on. This is going to be played until the end of their next turn. Yeah, it's like, yeah, they go, yeah, that's a great point. They go, Jitte's play patterns are ... not great. Here's Violent Outburst. Oh, wow. So they're going to go Orm's Chant. I have to go Counterspell and then force the Path to Exile. I can imagine if Modern became more aggro-centered, Jitte might become a bit more impressive in those matchups. So when you say aggro-centered, you could maybe mean burn, like exactly burn, and like maybe Boros Synergy. It's unclear to me how good Jitte is against Boros Synergy. I haven't tried it. So Jitte would be good against burn, but they're currently affinity, prowess, and Boros Synergy are three aggro decks that kind of like define like that. Those are the Unzu. Those are the four modern aggro decks. Jitte is not very good against any of them. Besides Boros, it's okay against Boros. I think it's just too slow against prowess. Maybe I didn't need to draw here. Yeah, I think it's possible that Jitte's bad against Boros. I want to reserve judgment until I see it in action there. All right, we are 3-0. That was we 2-0'd that match, despite it taking forever. Keep watching for me. All right, beautiful hand on the play. Does Snare get worse versus still must? So for my thinking on Snare is that Corey, Steelcutter, and Psychic Frog, specifically, and the Johnny maybe, like these three cards are like very scary. I think you would be main decking the Snares. The Snares are obviously bad against Cascade, but you get to swap them out for a bunch of Disputes and Consigns and Test of Talents post board. So I think it's fine. Yeah, but like, Frog and Steelcutter are just so scary. I feel like you need the Snares. But the metagame is changing. We'll see. So play a turn 1 Eldrazi Temple. They have a Think. Maybe they have a Dismember. Yeah, Flame could deal with Cutter, although you would just Snare is like, you need a fast answer to it too. You also have Force of Negation. Yeah, you could also, Umazal is Jitte's unbanned, guys. We need Spell Snare. Frog Jitte to 5-0 recorded Esper Stoneblade. That's very exciting. I'll say nothing bad about it. Charm also answers those cards to a degree. Kind of. I mean, I think the balance is like, it's good when you're really behind or really ahead. So they're playing through the breach. Snare hits Explorer. Yeah. Snare against Titan. Also, if they're still playing Analyst, or if they should be playing Rumble too, especially if they're playing Analyst. Snare's not usually that bad against almost any deck besides Cascade. Like it's like Tron and Titan. Tron and Titan. It has plenty of targets. I've got a Flame of Anor in my hand. So do y'all remember when we played Blue Red Through the Breach and we played Terminal Velocity over Yggdrasil? I remember I really liked Terminal Velocity. I don't know if people know that cards exist or not. I thought it was better. I just think this card is so inconsistent. And like when we played Yggdrasil, maybe we just ran bad with it. Maybe it is better than I think it is. While drawing Force is insane. I think Red Green Breach is better. Yeah, I think Red Green Breach also might be better with Terminal Velocity. I think we also tried that. What are you doing? You get Graveyard Stock Up? Take it back. I don't think it's too greedy to let this resolve. Gonna have to discard a card. Missed my land drop. Could you blend this Wizards deck into the Reclamation deck? Yeah, we have done that. You can look at the Mox Field and you can find like using Wilderness Reclamation as a mana engine in this strategy. Like just basically splashing it. Totally fine plan. I think I really want Subtlety against them. Well, I was going to minus on Force of Negation. We're just drawing everything this game. We'll just plus. What do you think of all the various free cycle spells, MH1, 2? Do you think overall they've been more healthy for the format or unhealthy? I mean, so I think the forces were a big net positive to the format. I think the oh bummer. I think forces were a big net positive. I think that endurance, solitude, subtlety were all really good. I know there's a lot of solitude hate. I love solitude. Wait, I totally thought I had a counterspell in the yard. Sorry. I guess I'll cast Snapcaster, then use counterspell here. It's okay. We're pretty ahead. I think the flares. I don't know. Flares net positive, I guess. GTA and Invisible Stalker and like blue white boggles doesn't sound good. I'm gonna not. I won't break your heart. It's turn 4. I have assembled my attack with my Invisible Stalker GTA. I get 2 counters. What does Primeval Titan do? What does? Can I read the card Past in Flames? This is what, Violent Outburst? Is that how you say that? Karn Karn is a great, you say is a great creator, huh? Like Aspiring Spike, a great creator. Interesting. That was a joke, yeah. Though thank you for setting me up. Did you buy your JITs now or not? This is not a financial advice channel, but You sound so sweet. I'm gonna give you some financial advice. Jitte's got to be like there's got to be a price spike. I haven't looked, but I'm assuming there's a price spike because of Jitte. I would expect that price to go down. Aspiring Spike is issuing Umazo's Jitte a sell. It's a sell. Sell your Jittes. It did not jump in price at all. Still sell. Still sell. Yeah, this is financial advice. Sell your Umazo's Jittes. All right, so we're up a game against Through the Breach. I want my consigns. I want my dude. We're 4 for 4 test of talents coming in. It was like the last minute addition to the sideboard. So Dispute can get Stock Up, which is the best card in the format. They're gonna have some blue counter magic post board too. I think I want to cut the Prismari Charms and the red removal spells, and probably like 2 snares. Okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back. Maybe I should have no subtleties. Maybe snare is better than subtlety. I don't know. Let's keep this on the draw. Having turn 1 Tamiyo is real nice. Is Charmaw over sideboarding? Yeah, we should have Charmaws over the subtleties. Good call. How many Boros players have we seen since the Flage ban? A few. People are trying to figure out like what does Boros look like post Flage. It seems like a lot of people are sticking to Boros, so we're trying Mardu. We're trying Jeskai right now, which I think is fine. There's also Green White Leo. There's also Black White Leo, which I think could be like, and Blue White Quantum Energy. All of these can be the new Guide Pride decks. Maybe tomorrow we should play some of these. I really want to get this deck kind of challenge ready to go because Wizards somehow seems like, for me, it just seems like the deck. Do you think mainboarding 1 explosives would be crazy over Charm? Yeah, just sideboard the sideboard cards. We beat Rhinos so far today. I don't know. I think it's been my reason behind tested talents. Yeah, we've boarded it in every matchup so far. This is like it's a very combo heavy format, and like tested talents is just really good against a lot of these combo cards. I think tested talents against K command is also kind of an interesting dynamic, although it can be kind of hard to snipe. Yeah, splashing Consign and Boros Energy honestly seems like, why haven't they been doing that this whole time? If we're revisiting Guide Prep packages and I'll throw in my push for Cryptic Coat to make a comeback. Cryptic Coat better than Umozo's Jitte. We cannot allow this. Get out of here, Stock Up. You were banned from this game. So they have Dispute. They have 2 Through the Breaches. Awful hand, really. Let's see. So they have 2 copies of Yggdrasil, 2 Unholy Heats, 3 total Through the Breach, 3 Aeon's Torn, 3 Ulamog, 3 Talismans, 2 Fire Ice, 2 total Disputes. Really, you playing 4K commands in this metagame? For all the people who haven't been around because of the whole Boros situation, that's a joke. Which era modern do you think would have actually been a little too early for? Birthing Pod, Looting, Opal era, or a different time? Jitte? You know, I did play back in like the Twin Birthing Pod era back in the day. Stoneforge Mystic wasn't legal at that time, is maybe something to remember. Let's see if we draw Consign, I guess. good top deck for them. I'll say that like when Burn was a tier 1 deck, like Young Pyromancer was around, Birds of Paradise was around. I don't know that it would have been too good, you know. Like they said at the BNR, this is very true. Modern can't always absorb. Modern can absorb almost anything. The only times Modern's never truly been able to absorb a deck has been like Eldrazi Winter, Cascade Tybalt, Hogak, Nadu. I'm not even sure that I would say like the Urza Oko decks weren't absorbed, but they were like, it was maybe close. Maybe one or two other examples. Skullclamp was never legal in Modern. Or yeah, Nadu definitely. So like these are the times where the format like completely like degenerated, but there's also been like plenty of times that there have been decks that are problematic, like Breach, Boros Synergy are good examples, recently at least. I think Jitte and so forth is going to come up at the same time. Honestly, I think kind of based. All right, let's force this. Might even be better to pitch a Subtlety. Oh, right, they have to dispute. I did forget about the dispute. Well, maybe it's okay to trade there. Probably not. They do exile their Null Drifter. They could throw that at me next turn. Let's see if we can find a Flame of Anor and a land. I guess that would be... They'd be asking for a lot, for sure. Alright, I'll take it. Was Delve too strong for Modern? Dig through Timer Cruise? Yeah. You know, it does seem like a lot of people are always very interested in returning to old cards. I'm always more interested in just printing newly designed cards. That is just almost always that is my prerogative. That's my interest. So they hit an Ulamog. So this is going to be a 14/14 Annihilator Infinity. Probably could take 14. I don't remember seeing any bolts. Oh, 17/17. That's my exact life total. We're not dead, though. Shout out if you see the line. So here we're going to go Evoke Subtlety, pitching Snapcaster Mage. And then we're going to replicate Consign to counter both the Evoke and the Annihilator trigger. Wait, this doesn't get sacked in a turn? Okay, then we'll lose. I guess we could have drawn Prismari Charm if those were still the deck. Hey, OG, welcome. All right, yeah, I think, yeah, we'll get the Charmaws in here over 2 Subtleties. I think 1 Subtlety, 1 Snare is probably a good split. All right, I eat Crow against Yggdrasil. I just don't think cards should be on the ban list if they're format warping in some way. Sorry if they're not format warping. That's fine. You're allowed to have this philosophy. Bringing Charms back for balance. I don't think just because it was good in that situation it makes sense. We're a Flame of Anor deck. Although I do have Charms in, don't I? Oh, I cut them? Why did I cut them? They're probably better than the Subtlety of the Snare. Force of Despair, an increasingly good option against Cascade. Just like when Violent Outburst was legal the first time, it's really bad against Violent Outburst. Like, they just play on your end of turn and your Force of Despair, like, you have to have 3 mana up, I guess. So, Force of Despair's time in the sun. Like, Force of Despair was really good against Living End while they had to play at sorcery speed. I'm going to graveyard this. I think we need to be hitting our land drops here. Probably will just cycle the Critique X equals 0 at the end of turn if they don't do anything. I mean, Cascade should only have it at sorcery speed. I listen. I'm on your side, guys. We're gonna hold up, but either I guess we're not gonna snare plus counterspell, but flame. Are the Emeritus too slow for this build, not for the game plan? This deck already has so much card advantage that the blue Emeritus I think is just too high on the curve. And the red Emeritus is bad in this deck, and maybe bad in general. Has not tested very well overall. Why hasn't Wisdom been punishing fire? I mean, I don't know. They think they said one insight to that, I guess, is in the Jitte unban announcement. They said the play patterns of Umezawa's Jitte are ... not great. So if they think that about Umezawa's Jitte, they probably think the same about punishing fire, maybe even more so. I will say it's still very funny. They go, that's not great. ... Anyway, here's Violent Outburst unbanned. Would it be too strong if Burden Wheel Cycles was never completed? What is ever completed? I don't know. I don't think they will complete it. They could do the Burden Wheel Cycles with no red, maybe. To be fair, them it's the most excited modern spins lots of mints. I agree. I'm not trying to go too hard on them. I'm really happy. I do think, it's important to give constructive criticism in the interest of continuing to improve this format that we love so much. I think it's a fine turn to play this. I might have a hard time closing out the game with that. I know we just snap it back. It's fine. Do you ever want any moon effects on the sideboard? I know a lot of people like default to playing moon effects. Charmall's better against Tron. You have a great Titan matchup already. Why do you want to play moon? I've asked this to like 5 players when playing this deck about like, and I haven't really gotten like an answer on why you'd want to play moon. Holy shit! A lot of Mistrais villages, huh? So hopefully I can find a Charmaw for that. Maybe Mistrais village is the reason to play moon. It's a little weird. I'm going to main phase, critique X equals 0, looking for Charmaw. I think that's how bad I need to kill this village right now. Okay, the sync allows me to beat a through the breach this next turn. Are people still loading up Borisov Flage? Yeah, somewhat. I think I'm going to sync this probably. Let me see what I'm surveilling. I guess maybe sync first was good so I could dispute a dispute, actually. Just costs 5 mana for them to do this, you know. Come on, Charmaw. Show up. Water everywhere, not a drop to drink, huh? You can test the talent, hit the rest of the deck. I don't know if that's a good play, but it is a play. This dispute's coming because they're better than blue cards. They're bringing their disputes. They have stock up. They have fire ice. They have enough disputable stuff. No shot. They have 2 more in their hand. That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. If Mistress is good, then Remand is good again. Remand doesn't beat Mistress. Reprieve does. They find a temple. They don't evoke the Null Drifter. Can hold this for Through the Breach, but I think I've got a very mana-intensive hand here. Actually, yeah, I think I need to go main phase snap Critique because of the K commands. It's a little awkward because of the Yggdrasil. And then we can cast Charmaw for 3 mana if we find it. Still no Charmaws. Hey, Funky, good to see ya. We have Ulamog mana now. We've also drawn 0 consigns. So it seems like their plan is going to be Mistrise Village plus Consign, or Mistrise Village plus K command. I'm going to draw 2 cards. Where are my Charballs? I'm also like just burning through all of my like traumatic critiques. I guess I'll have the Charballs to win the game with maybe eventually. Okay, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Die, Mistrise Village, die. It's probably a little too late. Because I think they're just going to be able to hardcast Emrakul, which isn't like a super beatable thing. We have Consign. They're going to activate this Mistrise Village, which means I will not be able to counter the Consign, and that has been the whole dynamic of the last like 4 turns. On the Emrakul. So Emrakul can't be countered. You can counter the extra turn, you can't counter the Emrakul. Oh wow, they chose to go for Through the Breach. So this does get sacrificed, and I can consign the trigger. So they can try to K command the Charmaw? What's the plan? They have 2 K commands. I guess the Devourer maybe is the move. I feel like they should have gone for the K command. Do you get punished for attacking with the Snapcaster, or do we get rewarded? I don't actually know. They're going to combat. We know that their hand. They still have the Null Drifter. They still have the Yggdrasil. They still have the Devourer. They still have 2 K commands. So if they have a dispute, it's okay. But I think I'd rather keep up the Counterspell. Surprised they didn't cast the Devourer like first. So I'm gonna go for K command. Devour's under Labdown. Oh, that's the initial reveal. Okay. I guess they still could have put it in their hand and cast it. Yeah. I think many people have been implying you can counter the Mistrise activation. Oh yes, you also can't consign the Mistrise activation. It's a activated ability. This only counters triggered abilities or colorless spells. Huh. So I think they're trying to also play Yggdrasil. Let's counter this. Not in amazing shape still. Yeah, Consign to Memory is maybe going to be the most played card in Modern. I don't. Is that maybe is even a crazy thing to say. It probably just is. So I guess we would let the Yggdrasil resolve, so we can just snap Flame. Keep the Force in our hand. Is that better than going Snap, Kit, Consult? Yeah, but Snap, Kit, Consult's probably better. Oh, they go Evoke Null Drifter instead. Okay. So they still have Yggdrasil, they still have K Command, they've got some mystery cards. It's already the most played card. That makes sense. I drew a Flame. Okay, great. We're doing it. If they go for like Devourer this turn, maybe we can go Snapcaster, Traumatic Critique the Devourer. It's already the top card, I see. Well, it's going up. It might be above 50%. Yeah, so this doesn't matter very much because of the flames. This is just a walking 3-for-1 for us. Wait, fuck. So no, I forgot to exile stuff from the graveyard. I've thrown away the game. I've thrown away the game. I need to kill response to the ETB. I'm sorry. I think we lose. Such a long game to punt at the end. Yeah, I just forgot about the ETB. Dang it. What happens if I go Snap Critique? They go, I have 3, 5, so I put them to 7. I attack for 3. I Snap Consign the Annihilator, but the problem is the Ulamog lives. Do I have any more critiques? I have 3 in my exile zone, so this is the only one left. Yeah, we can Snap Consign and block, and then flame the Yggdrasil. Snap Sync. Oh, I can Snap Sync. I have to annihilate it. I have to, yeah, okay. And then they get to hard cast it. That is going to be the play, though. So again, we just should have responded to the ETB, but just try to bail ourselves out here. Yeah, I have to sack 2 of our islands as punishment too. And they get to hardcast the Sulamog. Huge punish, but still winnable. I don't know how many Snapcasters I have left. I have a bunch of Consigns left. Yeah, there's one. Don't think we need to shock this in. I thought you were second to snaps. Why? I need to win this game somehow. Looks like 0. Yeah, it looks like there's 2 in the yard here. So I have 1 Charmaw left. 2 turn clock with the Snapcasters. Shock leaves up triple counterspell. If you're counting, I have to replicate the Consign, so not really. I'm always gonna replicate Consign here, aren't I? That resolves. That's a 5 minutes on their clock, huh? Through the Breach of Fire Ice, maybe. 2, 3, 4, 7. I think there's like 0 chance they pay for this. Is that important? I guess that doesn't matter though. Yeah, if you kill response to the activation, they would still get to throw something at us. I rigorously hate the party member top right corner. I know I can't get rid of it. I don't know how. If you have any advice on what to do. I don't know how they're just not playing anything that matters this turn. Okay, there's something. Oh, it's because we have a wizard in play, right? I see 2 islands in my graveyard. Looks like I still have 1 island in the deck. So right now I have Hardcast Force, Hardcast Dispute, Kick Consign. I lose that. No, I don't lose it. I do lose it. I do lose it if I don't draw a blue card. Let me see what's in the deck. So I have 3 total bricks, 1 really, really good draw. 3 really, really good draws. And then maybe the counter spells. Okay, I'm gonna draw. Okay. Not a Charmaw or a Consign, but still pretty good. That's fine, I guess. 6 for Tamiyo. No, Tamiyo's not a brick because it pitches to force. How are you casting Talisman this turn? It's literally just always bad. It's always -1 mana. Although it would have been the brick because of the Vexing Bubble, I guess. They need to be main phasing their stuff here, I think. I don't know I don't know what's happening. Now I just have everything up. Yeah, we punted really bad this game too, that's true. They have a fire. PK fire. Is Atraxa really that good in Goryo's list? I feel like Grizz, Valgavoth, Raph, and Emrakul are better. I think Atraxa's better than Valgavoth, but maybe I'm wrong. We Snapcaster sunk the Ulamog, and then we flamed the Yggdrasil. Had to sack 2 islands. Does Goras get better with less Flage Hate? That's a really interesting question. So one thing about Flage is Flage both required that decks like Boros not play cards like Rest in Peace or Sanctifier, and they also required other decks to play cards like more single use Graveyard Hate, like Soul Guy Lantern, Nile Spellbomb, Graveyard Trespasser is like not very good against Gorios, but is Graveyard Hate. A lot of cards that are like better against Flage than Gorios. So I think maybe there will be less Graveyard Hate overall, and maybe the Graveyard Hate that goes in against Gorios is going to be better against Gorios. Although the current like Esper Gorios is really good at outgrinding like Rest in Peace. So I don't know. It's a hard question to answer. I don't think Dredge's position probably pretty bad. How's Croaks? Croaks is okay. I didn't like how in on the graveyard that build was. We were like super weak to Graveyard Hate, so I built a different Croaks deck that was has a bit more resilience we could play today, and I also built Hollow One, which is less resilient. All right, just clip it, post it to YouTube. What could they play? There's nothing. I'll just surveil. Spike recommended a book. I started reading King Killer Red Rising Mistborn series recently. I've read King Killer, and I'm on Iron Gold. I'm taking my time with this one. This might be the land destruction deck again. I don't know. The books I've been reading lately have all been like books on writing and world building and stuff. So like that's why I'm taking so long. I finished that other world building book. That book had like 2 sections on Magic the Gathering, and I had it next to me to talk about, but it's gone now. I can't remember the title. Yeah, I bought Dungeon Crawler Carl. I haven't started it. I also bought a book called I think it's Germs. Germs is in the title. It's like a book on like world like civilizations and how they develop. I think it's Germs, Guns, and something. Ammo? Not ammo. Book or audiobook. I tend to prefer to read real books than do audiobooks. I can get through them a lot faster. And it's better for your brain. I also like listen to music all day, so it's kind of nice not to have headphones in all day. Yeah, Germs, Guns, Germs, and Steel. That's it. Yeah, the other world building book I bought recommended that one. It sometimes feels like bullshit when you're reading a book and then the book makes you buy another book. For information, much of the book was debunked as great but largely wrong. Maybe as a fantasy author, that's fine. As a person who cares about learning, maybe less fine. Do you think music helps with playing? Yeah, it's also like I like to listen to music while I stream, and I think music is like a little bit of a net negative to play in the background, but I still like to listen to it. Is this just Weird Wizards? Yeah, I think that this is an archetype that gets so good from the Flage ban, and I've been wanting to test it for a while. Post Flage ban. I think I probably want to throw 1 counterspell at this. What exactly was debunked about the Guns, Germs, Steel? Maybe the germs. So they reprieve their erode. I guess I have to throw both my counterspells here. Is just Skyland Destruction a thing? Yeah, it's been a little bit of a thing since erode has been printed. It's fine. I like that it's good against creature decks. It's good against big mana. It's like it kind of can't beat. I don't know. I don't know if it can beat spell based combo. I guess the reprieves help some against Living End. Do I do any ebooks? No, it's really bad for my eyes that I already stare so much at screens all day. So I really like to own physical copies of books. What's the blue for? I think it's for consigns in the sideboard. Maybe it's into fairy. Isn't erode worse than path? So they play both. Well, one. It's not worse than path. Actually, erode is better than path now. They banned Flage. Erode is better than path now. That was the most relevant thing about path over erode is that path exiled Flage. Why does it counter the reprieve and not let it bounce the counter and cast it again? Because then they get a card. And this stops the card draw off the reprieve. Have I heard the 20-minute rule for eye strain? Yeah, my eye doctor has talked to me about it, and I do kind of try to stare at my window a little bit, and I'm not very good about it. But I also like exercise every day, and I go outside every day, so I'm okay. Surely Counterspell in hand is better than +1 card. I think we can agree to disagree, but like they have so many cards, I don't know. I felt okay about using the Counterspell there. Yeah, they're reprieving their erode, so that's a 2-for-1. I also kind of like, maybe they don't have another removal spell. Maybe Tamiyo takes over the game, and like that's another reason to counter there. Didn't they reprieve their own road? Yeah, that's why I countered the counterspell. What are we? What's the? I don't even understand what the confusion is. It's not +1 card. It's the erode and a card. It's a 2-for-1 when you reprieve your own spell against a counterspell, and that's +1 card. I don't understand how this conversation is still happening, so I'm going to exit it. I'm going to kill this to fairy with my top deck Traumatic Critique and discard a Galvanic Discharge. Probably just play the Stevens tapped. And you get better by going outside every day. Texas has good weather for it. Are you in Texas too, Doc? It's about to be bad weather for it, but I'm taking advantage now. It's pretty rainy outside, so I'm definitely gonna be outside today. When it gets too hot, it'll just be like just in the gym. No attack for clue. The Tamiyo had summoning sickness because it was just bounced by the Teferi, so not a line that was on the table there. San Antonio. Oh, I love San Antonio. Are you a Spurs fan, Doc? I've been watching the Spurs. Hopefully I don't have another erode here. We went down to San Antonio for a Spurs game this year. How many sources of red do I still have? I should still have a good bit. I've got 3 Steam Vents and 2 Thundering Falls. I've got Snapcaster Counterspell up, so I'm gonna try to ultimate the Tamiyo. Yeah, the last Spurs game was unbelievable. One of the best games I've ever seen. I guess I need to counterspell another Wildfire. This is a draw 2. It's probably worth a snap counterspell. And then, assuming they don't find an erode, I'll probably need to minus on another counterspell. Yeah, whenever a team like blows a big lead like that, I go to their subreddit just to experience the pain. Why no Mana Sculpt? Not better than Logic Knot. Logic Knot is 2 mana. Mana Sculpt is 3 mana. This format's very, very fast. I did like Mana Sculpt when we were testing it in the Flayer Thundertrap Trainer build. In my mind, those 2 cards you kind of just need to play together. So one, you have more wizards, so Mana Sculpt is more consistently better, and also so you can have a more consistent payoff for Mana Sculpt. But I wanted to move into Force of Negations and Subtleties instead, and I've liked that direction so far. Has Flow State showed up much in Modern? Not a lot, but definitely some. So a great reprieve for them. They're also floating a red mana. After watching both those games, I can't fathom the winner of Cavs Knicks has a chance against Spurs or Thunder. Brunson has that dog in him. He's not normal. Okay, how do y'all feel about minusing for counterspell versus just plussing and hope they don't have an erode? They don't have an erode in their hand right now. They would have cast erode over Path to Exile. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go for the ultimate. Let me know what you would do. Surprised this is in the deck. I think I have seen this build. This build is pretty interesting. Like them casting the Path to Exile is a big tell that they don't have the erode in their hand currently. I'm getting counterspell. The only way to get punished is by being greedy. I don't know if my opponent goes like untap and then they go blow up a bunch of your lands. Like what do we do against like this Field of Ruin? What do we do against like multiple land destruction if we minus? Like that feels like a losing game to me. That feels like a losing game to me. They find a Cleansing Wildfire. Yeah, they could run Discharge. I don't think that they're very likely to. I think that if I was building their deck, I would just be pretty maxed out on Path and Erode. But they could. So they play another Trainer, looking for the Erode. Even if it feels like playing No More Lies. I mean, they did ban Flage. And they hit a Cleansing Wildfire, and it seems like we're gonna get rewarded for our line. That's the word. I have -2 Steam Vents. I still have 2 in the deck, and I still have 2 Thundering Falls. Ultimate the Tamiyo. It's a lot of cards. I only have 4 mana, and I'm very restricted on red sources. My opponent's gonna be fielding a red source here. We know that they also have a Wildfire in their hand. Do I have a Snare? I have Force at least for it. I have Force. I guess I'll probably go Tamiyo plus plan to snap Snare this turn. Although maybe it's unwise not to use red mana. You have 3 mana. I haven't played my land yet. Oh, we should have 2 more vents in the deck, and only one more Thundering Falls. Oh, and there's the falls. Okay. They exiled a Wildfire? They milled a Price of Freedom. What's up? When you rolled down the window just a little. On the other card? All the way down. How'd you get it back up? It just went back up. Okay. Yeah, there was no rhyme or reason to it. I seem to have miscounted my Steam Vents. Wait, I don't have a Snare? Okay, maybe a classic Esther misplay here. Literally, where are my snares? I thought I had one in the yard. It's not really that big a deal because we mostly just care about our red sources. Although we don't have any counter spells. This is kind of a crazy series of cards to have drawn. Okay, there's a counter spell. So I probably need to play my Thundering Falls this turn. Yeah, so we're going to be unable to hardcast a Subtlety this game. I may be running out Snapcaster end of turn. Just as a 2-2, 2-1. We know that they still have a wildfire in their hand as well, which I guess is going to have to be my Force of Negation target. Yeah, I don't know where my Force Demons went. There's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Where is my Force Demons? Am I only playing 3? Thought I had 4. No, there's 4 there. I mean, I'm sure it's got to be somewhere. 1? Oh, there. There it is. It's so much there. Okay. So I have to force this. Do I have any forces left? I think I have 1 left. Yeah, so I could try to draw it off the clue token. I think I would force that if I drew it off the clue token. Nope. Should probably pitch the charm. I think third Tamiyo's. I mean, I guess I'm never casting the charm. So there's that. Third Tamiyo was also pretty not helpful. They Graveyard of Wrath the Skies. They Field of Ruin me. So let's pick up the Force of Negation off this Tamiyo. Is there... I guess I can maybe pretend like I have another Surveil land. Would you ever want to play Tablet in this deck? Not in your Counterspell deck, probably. But I am kind of interested in Tablet plus Traumatic Critique. They've got 5 cards in their hand. Looks like they're leading on Wrath the Skies. I guess I'll Logic Knot it. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess now I'll pitch the Prismari Charm. I think it's the worst card. Maybe the third Flame is worse. I don't know. Do I still have the Sink in the deck? Looks like I do still have the Sink, so I guess I could hardcast Subtlety if I found that. Another draw 3. Probably gonna lose. I don't know that I've lost after ultimating Tamiyo ever before. Yeah, I am planning to snap Bolt this turn. Don't really have much else going on. Somehow I did not draw a snare this whole game. All 3 snares are in the bottom 11. Yeah, this is game 1. Critique better. Critique is 1 damage. This is 5. In hindsight, do you think you sacrificed too much to Ultimate Tamiyo and turns out without mana it's not relevant? No, it was definitely right to Ultimate the Tamiyo this game. Too bad I can't Subtlety the Savine, like the Teferi. They can also bring back 2 Field of Ruins with the Savine's Rack. They have a win con. Well, I do have fewer cards in my deck than theirs, so if they can keep me off win cons, it does work. That being said, it is game 1. My opponent's got 12 minutes. This is a trophy match. Like this could be how this match is decided. I remember you beat an opponent who ultimate Tamiyo one time. I think I have. I don't know if I've lost after ultimating Tamiyo. So they flashback targeting Cleansing Wildfire. Bolt better than Discharge this game. You're right. All right, we can't win. I don't think I'm not gonna play for the clock here. We are unable to win this game. Okay, so let's bring in the Test of Talents and the Disputes. Let's cut all of the red burn. And then this opponent they do have enough fields probably that I think the Charmaws are going to be fine, and these subtleties seem pretty bad. I guess we can play one, or we can play a bolt. Maybe we could be a little scared of Teferi with this configuration. People look you dead in the IZZET games like that are fun. I had fun. Yeah, I think I agree. I think I like a bolt over a subtlety. It's kind of close. They can kick a Thundertrap trainer. Yeah, I think Charm just does like the surveilling end of turn is just good. Maybe one subtlety is better than the second Charm. No, we did not win that one. My opponent achieved a board state where I couldn't win, and instead of drawing it out for the clock, we're going to give him two like always. Even on critique over consult, yes, I feel really confident. I mean, maybe you could play like 2 consult over the 4th critique, but critique has been so insane. I don't even think critique is better on turn 2. It flips Tamiyo turn 2. They didn't kill me, but the game was over. I couldn't do anything. No moon effect in sideboard. Oof. So elaborate on why you want a moon effect. You want it for this matchup because they play like a ton of basics and they have removal for the harbingers. Against we have a great Titan matchup, and Consigns and Charmals are better against Tron. So let me know what you want the Blood Moons for. Couldn't you play for the clock when I could? I never do on this channel. If I am deterministically dead, I always concede. Consign cannot stop Demolition Field. That's an activated ability, not a triggered ability. Would literally just be Blood Moon for the fields. Yeah, I don't feel like that's a good, like, worth use of a sideboard slot. I would bring it in if I had it. Yeah, just the instant speed divination is pretty fine. I'm on Flash Wizard, so no Tamiyo. I wonder if Critique is still stronger. So what wizards are you playing if you're not playing Tamiyo? It's not just Snapcaster, is it? For throwing a cards, this looks like it should be Ragavan deck. I thought about sideboarding some Ragavans. Dude, drawing 2 basics sucks in this matchup. We still have 2 more at least. 3 Snap, 4 Tishana. Tidebinder is pretty interesting. I could get behind some Tidebinders. Yeah, I moved away from Thundertrap Trainer because I think that the forces and subtleties are better in this like really combo focused metagame. Probably will use the Prismari Charm with the mana here. Surprised the deck has 0 wand. We played against this deck recently and it did have wand. So this could maybe help me go Counterspell plus Dispute Teferi. If this deck is popular, Tidebinder has got to be good in Blink. It's just a little early, but I mean, Tidebinder is probably fine against this deck. Thundertrap Flare is so good. So Thundertrap Flare is very good. Thundertrap without Flare sucks, and Flare without Thundertrap sucks. So I'm kind of happy to be off of it, I guess. So I guess I'm not gonna consult the star charts after the Field of Ruin. With Boros Energy less on the table, has there been less Wrath Disguise? It seems that way. Think it might be time to try Asmo Chalk Outline. I don't think that combo is very good for whatever that's worth. Poured with the 7 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Appreciate you. What is this? Oh, they're also playing Prismari Charm. Let's go ahead and trade. Just use our floating mana here. I think we do want to be trading 1-for-1s in games like this. And this also lets me consult the star charts, find a land, and not go to discard. What about Time Sieve? That could be good with Emissary and Weapons. Would it be better with Emissary and Weapons than Explosives and Kappa Cannoneer? Like it's just already been kind of solved, I think. Surgical on Steam Vents. So I could fetch a Steam Vents, and I would still have 2 Thundering Falls in the deck. I think we have to force back. Fucking shit. They reprieve their surgical. Am I putting out a video as my opinion on the ban changes, even if it's a gameplay one? If I do one, it's going to be a longer video, and I haven't had time to make it because this has been so time consuming. So if I do one, it'll be this weekend, and if I don't, then if it goes past this weekend, I just won't. But if I'm going to do it, I'm going to really feel like I've got something to say, or try to at least. I think I want to keep the Tamiyo, but I think I do want to pass back and like snap, either have snap dispute counterspell up or snap flame. It feels a little bit bad to get Thundering Falls because they still have like another surgical live on the Steam Vents. I think I'm going to counterspell this, and maybe I could hope to snap dispute a flow state or it's a fairy or a dispute. All right. So they've got 3 cards in their hand. So we could go Tamiyo, main phase, Snap Charm, get a Steam Vents, flip Tamiyo. We also can hold up Snap Counter Magic. I think I'm gonna go for this line. Steam Vents actually a pretty good draw. Yeah, I think I could visualize it, Rosme. I think it's interesting. I'm interested in trying Tidebinder in the build. They flipped a Mystical Dispute off the tablet, so they don't get a card. Prismatic Ending? Well, the ending would go after Tamiyo. If it was... Okay, Helix, yeah. Interesting that didn't target the Tamiyo, because now I'm going to go minus on Consult the Star Charts. Yeah, I would definitely talk about how Consult the Star Charts and like how they did in Bankei Command, how Consult the Star Charts is going to continue to be the most played card in Modern. Doesn't seem like I should care much about this. They can brick on it, and at this point, and they hit in a road. So let's see what we see here. I guess we'll take Snapcaster Tamiyo. Yeah, I do mean Consign, sorry. This is still game 2. My opponent honestly could consider conceding, because if they get too low on clock, they're going to have a hard time for game 3. Is Tamiyo what is on card? No. It should probably have 1 toughness. It should probably start with 1 less loyalty. It probably shouldn't have an ultimate that wins the game. It's fun. So like that's something. It's fun. And they do concede. All right, game 3 for the trophy. If we didn't concede, it's fair to say he'd be approximately 90 seconds down on clock. I guess I don't understand where that's coming from. Should have flipped on 4 cards, not 3. Mostly saying if Sick Legs Brainstorm. I mean, it still flips off Brainstorm. I guess that's what you're saying. All right, training their Thunder Trap. I don't think they're playing Flares, are they? They reveal a Reprieve. Very scared of them just slamming to fairy. I think Tommy would be more reasonable if it like flipped if you sacrificed 2 tokens or something. To be more shipped down ult. Yeah, I agree. The ult on it's just like should probably just not exist. 3 toughness is too much on a card. So difficult to like ever discard a land in this matchup, I guess. It's so much more push than Grist. Yeah, Grist is like the hardest to flip, and you have to spend a mana for it. Out at 29 months, the bannings immediately made me think Spike is gonna be stoked. I am definitely stoked. So I think they're gonna go Wildfire with Reprieve up here, and then I'm able to. So they're probably just gonna Reprieve their own Price of Freedom. Oh, they don't. They're gonna just. Oh, they're gonna Helix Tamiyo. Sure. I'm a little surprised they're playing this card, honestly. They main phase Surgical Tamiyo. I think that's also fine. I'm surprised they didn't go after my Steam Vents. So their hand is Reprieve and 2 mystery cards. We want to have 2 pieces of counter magic up this turn. They do know my hand. Not worth saving Tamiyo. How could I have saved Tamiyo? How do you win 4 minutes? It's not. I could if I was them. I think I'll play as Thundering Falls this turn. What is Superiority? My mana's really taxed. I have a lot to do with it. They keep a card on top also. I don't see us losing. I mean, I agree. We're ahead. We could lose this game still. And if I was in their position, I could probably play 10 more turns with this amount of clock. Maybe a little less. To play this pretty patient. I guess I should draw 2. I will point to one flame mode the trainer. Not anywhere close to this. I'm planning to snap 2 modes the flame eventually, probably next turn. A little bit awkward to use that snare in a situation where they have reprieve. Possibly it's better to use one of these. I still have snap. I have snap flame. Maybe I should main phase snap flame. Yeah, let's go. Let's go main phase snap flame, and then I can with the dispute. I just guarantee this is gonna resolve, and I have enough lands in play that if they like Stone Rain me, I have another basic in my deck still too. So they're gonna reprieve the flame instead of the Snapcaster. Yeah, they revealed a reprieve to the trainer like a million turns ago. Oh, I should have exiled my Steam Vents because of Surgical. Do you think Flage Ban will be enough to make Boros a reasonable deck? I do. I think it's great that I don't have to play a lot of Graveyard Hate against my I'm gonna dispute this. I don't have to play a lot of Graveyard Hate against the against Little Creatures deck. Um, I can just play removal for little creatures. How does is it Wizards compared to just Sky Splinter Twin variant? A lot. There's less white cards. I'm gonna cast a Charmaw. I think I'm gonna target their red mana. Stop getting double spelled on. It's been a 3-hour league. So I'm going to go Snapcaster target Prismari Charm. And bounce my Charm all back to my hand. Have we seen much Boros and Snowflake? You've seen a little bit of it. Blade supports a bunch of decks. Those decks get hosed too instead of just the target, which instead of just the target, which is clearly Boros. I mean, they mentioned that it's good to like, that they mentioned in the BNR that this was also intended to target other stuff. Whether you agree with that or not is up to you. I will say like, it Escape Titans are bad design. I'm glad Flage is gone. It sucks when you having to play so much graveyard hate against like mid-range decks and have that be part of your sideboard maps is very restrictive in a format where you also have to deal with Neoform and Storm and Titan and Tron and Affinity. It's just tough. And I'm glad that that's not the dynamic anymore. Are people just going to read a Crooks instead? They're not just going to do that. Like so, we're doing a little bit of it. It's going to be somewhat viable. It's not going to be that big a deal. So someone did trophy with 4 Croakses and Mardu Energy, but Croaks is way worse. Wait, was Flame Blanche? Yes, Atticus. They banned Flage. They banned Lotus Field. They unbanned a Violent Outburst, and then they also unbanned Umazal's Jitte. I guess I'm just gonna flame this now. Oh, and then I do have one more Steam Vince, right? No, I don't. Those 4 Steam Vinces in the yard. How is Domain Rhinos? I don't know. The Rhinos deck seem fine. They seem fine. They milled a Lorien Revealed, so they can't really do anything with. I guess we'll attack first. I think Jitte played it well. I played it yesterday. It was the worst card in every situation. It was very bad yesterday. I think that is I think that it might be so bad that Hammer Time plays 0 copies if Hammer Time's a deck. 5-0 with IZZET Wizards, 4 Snapcaster, 4 Traumatic Critique, 2 Prismari Charms. Pretty cool. Let's run it back. I think I'm interested in playing some number of Tishana's Tidebinders. I'm not sure how many. I think this I want to keep the Tamiyos in. I think you have to play Tamiyo. Let's open our chests. That was a long